Hi, people. Hey. Welcome to Life Matters and Nadijeri. And sorry, we are 1 minute late. We just had to make sure that everything was going okay. So if this is your first time joining in, welcome. Please make sure that you share. Let's just share with our Instagram family also. Make sure you share with your friends. Today we're talking about something very important. Can everybody hear me clearly so that I am good to go? Okay, so it looks like everybody can hear me clearly. So today we're going to be talking about something very important. But if this is your first time, my name is Anu Adedire. My new last name is Akinawano, but across all my social media platforms, I bear Anu Adedire. And today we're going to be talking about something very important. But if it's your first time joining the show, here we talk about different life issues that affect our day-to-day lives. Now, to be very sincere with you, I started asking myself that do we actually cover all the life matters, like all the things that affect our lives? But it's not possible. That's why we have several and other shows that also do that. So if you want to join any godly or any faith-based show right now, there's so many of them that are doing amazing work. Especially during this pandemic, there are a lot of shows that are doing amazing work when it comes to discussing things that affect our day-to-day life. Like today we had Pastor Janaku and Dominion Voice Christian Outreach, and they were talking about sex and intimacy in marriage. It was so real, guys. Like so real. So there's so many of them, but what we talk about here is day-to-day living. It's an inspiring show, and today we're talking about something that affects new immigrants. Now, new immigrant people that just come from their own home country into a new country, and they make that place their home. And I noticed that when we talk about money, like we did last month, we talked about purpose, but we're talking about purpose in relation to money. And I noticed that a lot of new immigrants actually have made so many mistakes and errors when it comes to money and what they've done with money when they first landed into especially Canada. And I'm like, you know what? Today we're going to talk about it. And I have no other person, amazing sister of mine. We've come a tiny way from chosen ones. Yes, we've come a tiny way from chosen ones. And today we're going to be talking about everything. What are the expectations? What are the things that immigrants have to watch out for when it comes to them looking for money, or they mistakes they should not even make? So right now, if you're joining us on YouTube or on Facebook, make sure you share, create a watch party on Facebook so that you'll be able to join us and your friends can join us also. So today I have Belema Wali. She's a friend, a sister, she's a church member, she's a co-worker in Christ, she's everything, but also she's a financial credit advisor. Now let's start from the very beginning. Why is it that before I start with questions, how are you doing?
I am fine. I am fine. Thank you so much for having me.
So on a weekend like this, how do you chill? How do you unwind? What do you do during the weekend?
Oh dear God. Especially when it's weekend, I try to get enough sleep. Like plenty of sleep. My husband is laughing at me. Like plenty of sleep.
Wow.
I tend to wake up much later than I usually do. I wake up sometime around 7, sometime around 8 a.m. and just carry on with whatever it is that I try not to do too much on Saturdays. I try to do most of whatever cleanup I have to do on Sundays, but just kind of Saturday is kind of like the relaxation day. Take a
Okay.
spa day, book a spa. I'm going for a massage very soon that my husband remembered to book for this time around. But
Your husband is the MVP. Great job.
we,
Great job to him.
we tried. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, nice. So let's start from the very basics. A lot of people, when they come into a new country, they want to they want to maximize all the opportunities that they can in the country. When it comes to money decisions, so I put out that question, and someone said, one money mistake they made was as a family, they didn't know anything about renting a car or anything. So they were taking Uber for the first 3 weeks that they landed. And by the time they converted, they had spent over 500,000 naira on Uber, just Uber, right? And
Wow.
that person said, I remember, I think it was one of our pastors in Remant. He said that when they first came, instead of going to like No Frills, Walmart, Dollarama, they were always going to save on food, and they were always going to all this very, very. Some food is expensive.
It's expensive. Safeway,
I won't tell
Savon,
people
they are expensive.
it's expensive. So for me, he said he said that one of the things or one of the mistakes they made was they were always save on food to go and get stuff. Until people were telling that you're going to save on food when there's no food, there's Walmart, there's Costco, and they were like, oh my god. Then I think the third one someone else sent in was I think it was more or less like they were spending money on something. Let me just go straight to the page. I want to see if we still have the post on the page. Yes. So someone else said, let me see it. Okay, plenty money mistakes that we make as new immigrants. Thank God we are wiser now. I never knew I could do bulk purchase of produce until about 6 months ago. So she didn't know anything about farmers markets, which I don't know so much about farmers markets. And I feel like I'm a bulk buy kind of person. Like when I cook out in bulk. Like I use the biggest pots in the house to prepare everything, and I cook for the month. I believe that I just need to think of, okay, do we eat rice? Do we eat potato? Do we eat pound? Like I just think about all those things. But when it comes to the other things, I prepare it in bulk just to reduce my stress of always going to the kitchen. So those are the things that those are the mistakes some people had already said they made. But why is it that when we get into a country as immigrants, we don't always get the correct information when it comes to spending or where to get the great deals?
Well, one of the reasons is because, as for example, when before people leave their country, or some people they do research. So there are two ends of a spectrum when it comes to immigrants. The one end are the people that they do all the research before they leave. They watch all the YouTube videos before they leave, and they feel like they already know everything,
Hmm.
but they don't realize that there could be something out there that's better. Or some people, they depend on family members that have been here before. So they're
Hmm.
like, oh, my family member said, this place is the greatest place, or, my neighbor said, or my pastor said, or this person said, but they failed to, venture out there and make their own research and say what could be better than this. Is this store better? Is that store better? So they just rely on either what people say, or the first thing that, well, talking about the other people on the next end of the spectrum, is that it was close to their house. For people that buy at expensive grocery stores, it was either close to their location, and of course they don't have vehicles to drive to more expensive ones, and they get comfortable. Or because they just don't want to look out for something better, so we just sit in that bubble. I remember when I first came to Canada. I know we came as students, but there was this market in school. It's called Nestor's Market, and it was our favorite market because we thought things were cheap, until we got to find out that Walmart was a bit cheaper and it was saving us money. So we sort of shopped there. I'm saying we because I came as a group of students, but we sort of shopped there for. I sort of shopped there for a while before figuring out that, all these things I was buying here, I could spend way less buying it from the mall. But then I have to travel all the way around, take the train, take the bus. The whole waiting back and forth was something that I didn't want to get into. So that comfort was what sort of made me to spend more money and not look for anything else, or not worry about anything else.
Hmm. That's on the flip side of it, you're actually very correct. There are those that actually do more than enough research to actually get the best deals, or depend on family, while there are some that they don't even bother. They just come in and they look at how to do it. Now when it comes to money, let's talk about credit cards, because I remember that I've heard stories of people that got credit cards in stores, that got it through the mall, that got it at the airport, and a lot of people got different types of credit cards, and they just kept getting different kind of credit card, and they felt like it was just normal money. They were like, oh, they're introducing me to the country. And these people that do the credit, oh, I've met them before. Ontario, they're so quick. Do you consent to this? And I'm like, wait, can you calm down and explain to me what you're talking about here? And a lot of people are falling victim of getting all these credit cards, and at the end of the day, they have debt waiting for them. So are immigrants targets for these things? What are the things that immigrants should watch out for when it comes to getting credit cards? And what are the types that they should get? Because right now, people are just falling into different bubbles when it comes to getting credit cards.
Well, when it comes to the issue of credit cards, I have a personal experience with it. So I got my first credit card from CIBC when I was a student, and then it was you have this idea. Well, I don't know for anyone else, but for me, I had this idea that one, it was money that I'm supposed to borrow and pay back, but I forgot that I'm supposed to be paying back every month at least the minimum payment. So I had this idea that okay, the bank is giving me money back. When I have money, I'll go and pay them back. Or how they're not disturbing me, I can use it and then decide to pay back later. It was not until after about 4 years when I started working at the bank, about 5, 6 years ago, that I realized that I was actually not helping my credit. I didn't even know what credit was. Now, when it comes to the idea of whether or not immigrants are targeted, I don't think so. I think people that don't know how credit works are the ones that are targeted. So everybody that comes into the country have this sort of notion that if you get a credit card, the first notion people should have is credit card is not free money. The second is that yes, even if you believe that you have to pay it back, you have to pay back the minimum at least every month to maintain a credit history. Now, when you go to a store, I remember I went to a store one time, a superstore when I was a student, because I already got a credit card and I didn't know so much about credit history. And then the lady was like, "Oh, this card is just for points." I'm like, "I don't want another credit card." She's like, "No, don't worry. It's not another credit card. You can use it to buy, since you shop at a superstore, you can use it to buy a superstore. You get plenty of points. Sometimes you get free groceries." Oh, I heard free groceries. I'm like, yeah, sign me up. I'm up for it. So I got this credit card, and when it came in the mail, I was reading the agreements, like the interest rates and everything else. I'm like, this woman scammed me, right? I'm like, she scammed me because I didn't want a credit card. I just wanted a points card that will enable me, buy stuff and get points. But I canceled the card. On the other side, a lot of people are not that fortunate. People get the cards and then they use it, and then they're, sort of struggling because let's face it, most people when they come into the country, they don't come in with a lot of cash. So they get the cards, they spend it, they struggle to pay it, and before you know it, the bank is now telling them, oh, you have bad credit. They can't do anything else. I've seen families that are not able to rent a property simply because the first couple of years when they came in, they got credit cards that, they failed to pay, or they didn't realize that they had to be making minimum payments on. And of course, the building will pull your credit, find out your information, and they couldn't rent a property. So they were doing Airbnb, which was a little more expensive for them, but that was sort of their only option. But that being said, credit card is not a bad thing per se. I know a friend that said, never, I will never get a credit card. It ruins people. It makes them fall into debt. And for the first 6, 7 years in Canada, he never got a credit card. It dawned on him when he wanted to buy a car. And they said, well, you don't have any credit. So your interest rate, because we don't know how good of how credit worthy you are, your interest rate is going to be 20 something percent. And he's like, no, 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 you don't get it. I don't want credit cards because, I have my own money and I'm scared of going into that. And I'm like, well, I told him all of this. So credit card is not a bad thing. When you're getting a credit card, get the basic. If you're a newcomer, you're coming into Canada, get a basic. No matter what the banker tells you, no matter what the advisor sitting in front tells you, no matter what the lady at the airport tells you, if a credit card has an annual fee, it's most likely packed with a whole lot of benefits that as you're a newcomer, you most likely will not benefit from. Let's face it. Unless you're, let's say, for example, you don't have a car and you don't want to rely on public transport, some credit cards come with car rental insurance. So if you're going to be towing that route, then yes, look for a credit card that comes with car rental insurance. That way you don't have to pay the insurance of the car rental company. But you coming to Canada, get a basic credit card. Get a credit card with no annual fee. If you're able to get something with low interest, the lowest interest possible, fine. If not, just try to make sure that when you get a credit card, the limit is not at least more than $2,000. Anything more than $2,000 will most likely get you into trouble if you don't really know how credit card works. So try to get something that's less than $2,000, trying to get something that's basic that you don't have to keep, because sometimes they keep taking annual fees and you'll be like, oh, $120 for annual fees for someone that's just entering the country. I don't know about you, but to me it was a lot. And you haven't even purchased anything and they boom, the fees are already out. So do that. And then one more thing people fail to realize is that you are not supposed to owe more than 30% of the limit on that card. That also helps your credit or ruins your credit. So if you have $1,000 card, at any particular point in time, you're not supposed to owe more than $300 on it. If you do, what that is saying to a financial institution is that you're depending on credit to live, and nobody will want to give you credit. It doesn't actually, it reduces your credit score if you owe more than 30% on the limit on the card. So if your card limit is $2,000, don't carry a balance of more than $600 into the next month, because that's how, people start, when you use and you, I'll pay it, everything just starts, it's like a snowball effect. It starts spiraling down from there.
You're very correct. And I think I just found out about that recently. Like, I've been in the country for how many years, but I was that kind of person that also didn't believe in credit cards. I never had a credit card. But when I was educated a bit, I got the basic $500 credit card. And I told myself that this is just that if the emergency comes to, like, the emergency, and if the emergency is out of my emergency particular, like, Dave Ramsey always say, always have emergency funds. So I thought, okay, if this amount is more than this, but that you have extra that mindset of, I have $500. So I didn't know about this 30% thing until some days ago. So I had to do a bulk purchase, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to transfer the money from my debit into my credit card. Let me just use my credit card to pay this car thing. So I went to do some things on my car, and they gave me like a very big bill. So I'm like, you know what? To get points, right? To get points, let me use my card. So I didn't put the money back from the debit into the credit card, and I saw purchase interest of almost $50. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I paid, like, I put money inside this thing. What's going on? So I called, I thought it was a scam, and I called the bank. I was like, oh, so she just explained what you said, that, because you did this particular thing, even after you made all your payments, it was still more than 30%. I'm like, what? So I'm still owing the bank, and the bank will still take interest on the fact that I didn't put all the money back into it. So I think a lot of people don't know even now, and feel like, and like the point system you said, I feel like it's just debt. Point or no point, it is debt. Whether you have the money somewhere, you don't have the money somewhere, it is debt. Because one day, and my husband is all about, like, oh, he likes the point system, which I like, because there are times where, like, we're going to Montreal the other time, and we're able to go, like, without paying anything. So there was a day we wanted to buy something for like the show, right? So we're like, okay, let's get this stand so that it will help me do this. And we're looking at all these things. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go and check Amazon how much this thing will cost. So we
Yeah.
checked Amazon and it was about, I think about $60 each ish.
Okay.
And the point was they were gonna take $10,000 and 10,000 points from
Right.
here. I'm like, okay, 10,000 point I think is $100. I'm like, so why, if this thing is $60, which technically is supposed to be 6,000 points, right?
Right.
Why
Yeah.
are we taking 10,000? So we had to realize that when they tell you that you're paying in points, the bank is still getting extra money from that point system, because where you're supposed to pay for $700, they're using points to give you, and they've still made $300 or $30 or what, $300 on you. And I'm like, wow.
Well, the thing with that is this. There's several ways you can get around that whole point system. If, for example, you're the kind of person that shops on Amazon a lot, rather than converting your points straight to cash to pay on Amazon, you can convert your points to an Amazon gift card. So, for example, that $60 or that $6, it would get the exact conversion in points. So that it's kind of higher when you're converting to cash than when you're converting to a gift card. So if you're the kind of person that shops on Best Buy a lot, use the points, convert it. You can let's say 100,000 points to get your $100 gift card on Best Buy, but then it could only buy you something $80 if you're paying in cash
And you still have
on
the
the same website.
yourself.
Yeah, so it's usually very helpful. I actually learned that a few months ago. So I was like, huh, it kind of makes sense, but it's basically the same thing you want to do. If I want to buy something on Amazon for $120 and the bank is going to take 150,000 points from me, while if I want an Amazon gift card for $120, they're going to take 120,000 points. So why am I, paying more if I can get the same thing for less?
So guys, you see that we learn on this. So this is a tip for me. So I had to quickly do that so that I can get a full value for my money. So my next question is this. So when it comes to, tell us the basic things, or what are the basic things as a financial advisor? What are the basic things that you will tell a new immigrant to watch out for when they just get into the country, when it comes to having an account? So from the side of a student or a worker or a family. Those are the three scenarios.
From the side of a student, I think almost every bank offers free student account. So from the side of a student, just make sure you give all the information and make sure they explain to you, what kind of student accounts you're getting. Some banks offer, unlimited transactions. So that means you can spend money out of the account as many times as you want with no fee whatsoever. Some banks offer limited transactions, so it could be 20, it could be 10, it could be 25. If you go over the transaction, they start charging you on it unknown to you. And because some students, we don't really check our accounts per se, especially if we have mommy and daddy wiring us money, the money is there. If $30 goes off, we don't really notice as much. So when you're starting to open the account, make sure you're very, very aware. How much is this going to cost me? How many transactions am I entitled to? What happens, if I decide that I want to take money out from another bank's ATM? What happens if I decide that, I want to take more than $1,000 out of my account all at once? Do I have the limits to do that? That's for a student. Student banking is always free. It's very less complicated. And also try to get as much knowledge as possible. I think this is for everyone, to be honest with you. Try to get as much knowledge as possible before you get a credit card. Try to understand the kind of credit card you're getting and what it entails before you accept it, and try to get the basic amount possible. Trust me, you wouldn't really need a $5,000 credit card as a student. You won't really need it. The maximum a student for a credit card should have is $1,000, because that sort of helps you not to go into debt too much. Now, when it comes to a family, oh dear God, families I find are very particular in the sense that, they already have, like I had a family well, I've had a couple of families the past month that came from Nigeria. And whenever I see a Nigerian family, I'm usually very excited because I'm like, oh, this is my person. I'm going to help this person. I'm going to make sure that this person is set up. But I find that most people, when they come into the country, they already either have somebody that's here that's telling them, you know what, when you go, get this particular account and get this particular kind of card and make sure that they don't give you any other one. That's the one that's very, very good. And then you're sitting down there and then you're telling them, you know what, there's this offer that's way better. I mean, I know that this one is good, but we have this offer for newcomers. It is so much better. You don't, they're like, no, 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 no. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if you think if you open this account, my salary will change. Uncle, my salary will not change. At the end of the month, my salary will be the same. Oh, I don't get. I'm only trying to make you save some money. Because but it was kind of like a funny exchange because the wife kept calling the cousin. She's like, oh, she's trying to sell us this account. What do you think? I'm like, are you for real? And then the cousin was like, no, 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 no. The account I want to offer them, it's a free account. It's free for 1 year. After the 1 year, they can either choose to convert it to something cheaper or they can keep the one they have if they like it. But it had a monthly fee on it. The account that their cousin want them to have is the basic account. It's $4. But that account only has 12 transactions. So if you go over the 12, for somebody that does a transaction every day, if you go over the 12, you end up spending almost $30 in fees.
And
But
because they're new immigrants, they will buy a lot of things because they just got into.
exactly. But then they get caught up in, oh, you shouldn't pay too much fees to the bank. I've been using this one, it's been working for me. The cousin is like, I've been using this one, it's been working for me. Tell them that's the one you want. Don't let them cheat you. They should never cheat you. I was like, okay. And then the next week, after I found out that they started spending so much on fees, they came back and like, why are you guys charging me? This account is supposed to cost $4. You charge me $35 for one fee. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. But
Really?
on the day we opened the account, shall I explain to you now? This is the amount of transaction. Say, but my cousin doesn't pay anything. He only pays $4. Your cousin stays within that 12 transactions. You didn't. So it didn't work for you. It's like, okay, I want the old one that you were talking about. I'm like, it was there at the start. After the start,
you come
that's
out.
it. You can't get it again. Yeah, so it was usually for families when you're opening an account, try as much as possible to, you know, understand the account that you're opening and try to know that the person that's sitting in front of you is there to assist you to make sure that you get the best out of everything. If you're getting a credit card, most people prefer to get one credit card in their family, and that's what I would recommend because it sort of limits the possibility of debt in that household. So what I'd say is, hey, get one credit card in your family. Don't get, yes, the bank will offer you, if there are 3 people in that family that are of age, the bank will offer you 3 different credit cards. Trust me. But it's not the best thing to do because I don't think it is setting you up for success financially. So get one credit card, let it be joint. You can both have a joint credit card. It will build your history. It will build each of your history because it will show up on each of your credit bureaus. So don't try to say, oh, I want him to build his and me to build mine. But you're creating that higher possibility of debt. So limit the amount of debt you acquire once you just come in and try not to borrow from loan sharks. Try not to borrow from loan sharks. Loan sharks company, Kafinco, Money Mart, Easy Financial, any particular company that offers you a payday loan, there's a high likelihood that that's a loan shark. I've had numerous families because, the first few months are rough and I get that. They're looking for, how to survive and how to make sure that between that interim between them landing and them getting a job, that they're able to pay their bills and support themselves. And I get that. But try not to go to a loan shark. The interest is usually over 25. I've seen an interest that's 50%. And the guy according to him, he said he didn't read the contract. He was just happy that they were going to give him 5,000. He's been paying a $5,000 loan for 3 whole years. And guess how much has gone out of the amount that he's been paid? 1,000. So he was still owing $4,000, but he pays $251 every month, and he's been paying for 3 whole years, and he's only been able to pay off 1,000 out of the actual debts that he has. So try to avoid loan sharks by all means. Try to spend, oh dear God, I don't know how to say this better. Buy more from dollar store. Buy more from dollar store. It will save you a whole lot of money. Dollar store have some food items, they have some pasta, they have some of the basic things that we really use. It will save us a lot of money if we avoid some of these bigger name grocery stores. So try not to borrow from loan sharks. Get the most information you can from the advisor sitting in front of you, not from somebody you heard, because guess what? There will always be better offers. There will always be better offers, and way cheaper offers than whatever somebody you know has, or whatever somebody you watched on YouTube have.
I think you could have said it better. Like, there are a lot of people that are in big mess, and the mess is with a lot of S, because they made those mistakes from the very get-go, and now they're still paying they're still paying the debt till date. And I think it's important that, not to mince words, let's leave it within our means. Yes. A lot of us get into the country, and because things are better, we want to splurge a bit and like, like the land is green. Let me enjoy myself a bit. I know we tend to want to do that, but don't let your land be so green that your feet is biting you literally. I've seen it.
And one more thing that I forgot to mention. I know people that are, well-to-do in Nigeria, when they come over, they tend to be like, oh, it's just this amount, it doesn't matter. They're like, oh God, there was $20 taken out of your account. It's not part of your usual spending. Oh, it's okay. I don't have time for that. It's just $20. It doesn't matter. Every little dollar adds up. Every little cent adds up. When you ignore that $1 that came out of your account, either as fees that you cannot explain, or one or two things, it actually adds up. It piles up. I've seen millionaires, kid you not, a woman has over $3 million in her account, comes to the bank to inquire why there was 99 cents taken out of her account as service fees, when she knows she's not supposed to be paying service fees. And that's a millionaire in Canadian dollars. I'm yet to see a millionaire. I haven't seen anyone like an immigrant that comes in and then right away wires $1 million into their account. But still, every single dollar counts. And if we have that mentality, it will save us a lot. It will save us a lot. If you buy something you don't like, return it. Hold the receipts.
See, return it. I was still telling a friend that I want to do a video on odding. And let me tell you that we subconsciously, as immigrants, we subconsciously odd things, and we pile up things, not because we need them, but because we feel like, I might need it later. Oh, I might use it later. Oh, I fall into that, and I'm being very truthful. There are days where I go to the store and I look at that thing and I get to it and I'm like, I actually might not have needed it. Why did I buy it? Do you understand? A lot of us, and let me call myself out on this. So I remember there was a time that what they call this store, it's a very cheap store that they sell clothes. Ardeen had a lot of lipsticks they used to sell, 3 for $10, 5 for $10. So as a new, you want to pack this, pack that. So I kept packing. So there was a day that I was reshuffling. I was still with my parents, and I was reshuffling things in the house. And I saw that I had a big like when I piled everything together, I just had a lot of lipsticks that sis I'd not worn for over a year.
Holy.
I just had loads of them. That day I just sent a picture to my now husband and I'm like, see my life. That was what I told him. I'm like, how did I get here? And a lot of us subconsciously, it could be, I know people that they just, oh, I need this, oh, I need that. And they will forget that I think the new system for me when it comes to like sorting out and arranging stuff, now I know how many colors of what I have. If it's jeans, I know how many jeans I have. I arrange stuff, even at home, I label, if you come to my house, I label the entire house. I label so that I know that I don't have more than one box of curry. Do you understand? I don't have, and if I'm buying 10, it's because I don't want to go to the store every time to go buy that particular item, right? So let's not odd things. I know that in Nigeria or in whatever country you're from, you didn't have that luxury of buying a lot of things you're buying now. When you convert the money, like, hey, it's just $5, oh, it's just $10. And like you said, a lot of us, including myself, we rarely check our account statements. And it is now, I think the last 6 months, I've been doing that, sitting down with myself, looking at how much this, if I see any amount, I call. Hello, because of COVID, you can't just walk into the bank anymore. So I call and say, I saw this amount come out of my money. There was a time that I think there were 3 items. They just took. I'm like, hello, what's going on? And funny enough, they were all fraudulent transactions.
There you go.
To purchase a book on Audible, and another account, the same account was Amazon purchase. Like, and I called Amazon immediately and I'm like, hello Amazon, what's going on? I didn't buy it because I told myself that if it's not a need, I am not buying it.
Exactly.
Another thing that I saw also is for new moms, we want to buy everything for our babies. I am telling you, because especially when you have a girl, oh my god, he's so cute. He's so cute. Now I have a box, a whole hand luggage box filled with clothes that she's just 5 months. But even I'm putting clothes that are already small, 6 months, because she's quite tall. So the truth is, I always tell my friends that are new moms or that intend to be moms, please make sure that you take your time when you are purchasing clothing. You don't have to buy everything. You don't have to, like, you just need to buy what they need at that time, because these babies, in less than a few months, they outgrow it. And you have to wait till you have another. So what's the point? You get toys, you get this. So I feel like we want to give our kids the best life, but at the same time, we have to make sure that there is moderation to everything. So I want everyone, go to your closet, go to your pantry, go to your room, go to your office, and look at those things that you bought a lot of things, wires, cable, ink, clothes. There's some clothes you've not worn in the last 7 months. And I'm not talking about summer clothes though.
No. I think for me, I still have some clothes that I bought that I said, oh, this clothes will be nice. So basically, I think we, like you said, we buy things that we think we would need. So for me, I'm trying to lose some weight. So I saw this dress. I'm like, oh, this will be nice. You know what? Let me buy it. When I eventually lose the weight, it will look really nice on me. The tag is still there. The dress is still in the closet. Never. I haven't worn it. I'm still the same way.
Myself with that statement. Lose the weight, then buy the clothes.
Exactly. There you go. No, we're thinking the buying will be the motivation to lose the weight, but the dress is still there.
My sister, there's so many clothes that I had to intentionally lose so much weight. I think I lost about 9 kg so that I could tell myself that, you know what, you will fit into this clothes by fire by force. So the motivation, it was the fact that my motivation right now is I made a lot of outfits when I went to Nigeria for my wedding. And now I'm back, and the motivation is you must not hard weight because you're not buying extra
Buy
clothes.
any clothes.
So that's like my motivation, apart from staying healthy. But to be very
Yeah.
sincere, don't buy any outfits in the name of I will lose weight into it. It's a lie. You know why? Because you will now start buying the clothes of the weight you are at the moment.
Exactly. Exactly.
So people of God, let's do the needful. I want to ask people, if you're watching us out there, are there any money mistakes that you've made? Or okay, sorry, I know my sister Hi says that's so true. Getting a basic card is a good place to start. If you've gotten a gold or platinum or travel rewards card, you can request a tier change to the basic card to minimize.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. You can always change it when the time comes.
And another thing I wanted to say is, even if you want to get those cards that give you rewards, ask yourself, what are those rewards doing right now? So let's say that you have a travel points card and you know that in the next 1 year, there's nobody, and I'm just being sincere. In the next 1 year, there's nobody traveling abroad to do anything or except if you have business within the country. But if you have a points card that you can use to travel anywhere in Canada right now, you're just deceiving yourself and you're just paying them what is not. So tell them, okay, this is how much I owe. I owe $30,000 in credit card debt. Bring down my card to the basic, and I'll pay my money and face
And
that
then
squarely.
sorry to cut you short. There's always an option. That's what I want to say. I want to say something. There's always an option. So if you want a credit card that gives you rewards, it can be a basic credit card and it will still give you rewards. It
Mhm.
might not give you rewards as high as the platinum card or the black cards, but it will still give you rewards. So always ask, you know what, I really want rewards, or I really want this kind of points, but I don't want something that will, charge me an annual fee. I don't want something that will constantly require me to either pay a certain premium to be
Mhm.
able to keep it. So it's always there's always that choice of rewards with basic the
Mhm.
basic necessity that covers the basic. It doesn't matter if it's a quarter of what a premium card is supposed to give you. It could help sometime in the future. You never know, especially if you're the kind of person that uses cards a lot. Some people prefer to use cash. I'm a cards kind of person, so I would recommend the basic. But another thing I want to say is most newcomers that they don't learn the hard they tend to learn the hard way. Sorry, they learn the hard way and now they're in debt. There is an option. You can go into, let's say, for example, you're now at a credit card debt of over 5,000 or over $10,000, and you don't know how to fix it. Walk into the bank. You can turn that balance into a loan that sort of helps you
Mhm.
get a better cash flow and still be able to pay off the debt. There's always options. So at any point in time, if you find yourself falling behind in terms of your debt, because it will happen. It will happen. I don't know, but Canada does that to almost everybody, every single person. It
Mhm.
will happen. You will fall behind in some sort of way, especially if you're not you're not earning six figures. If
Mhm.
you're a family, it will happen at some point. If you have a credit card debt, you will maybe fall behind. You might owe up to half of what the limit is, but always go back and ask what is the best option, rather than paying 24% on a credit card and struggling to pay it off. You could be paying 5% on a loan and pay that off in less than 3 years. So
Mhm.
if you're a newcomer and sometime during your stay you find that you get into the whole debt situation, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Rather than paying 19.99% on a credit card interest, go ask to turn it into a loan. You pay it off faster that way.
Mhm. Thank you very much, sis. And I also wanted to say that there are some that are not loan sharks, that are financial institutions that have lower. So if you have a good credit, you can, instead of getting a credit card at 29, you can talk to your financial advisor and get a line of credit instead, where you're paying lower and you're still paying back the debt. So the line of credit clears that your credit card debt, and you're
Yes.
lower through your line of credit. So it's very important. A lot of people don't know that, and they get into all these sharks that want to clear off all their debts, but they never tell them
Mhm.
print, right? So it's
Yes.
very important. Another thing I wanted to talk about before we end the show is, I know that getting a car, one of the money mistakes that a lot of immigrant makes. So, like we said before we go, is go to stores that you can buy stuff from, thrift store. You can buy stuff from like Ardeen. I'm telling you, don't go to Laura. Don't go to Lasse. Don't go to go to stores that sell cheap but still quality. A lot of stuff
Yes.
I personally still wear are from other stores. I like Ardeen a lot, just because I get stuff for cheap. Because I look at myself and I'm like, there's like right now, there's nowhere we are going to like that, like that, like that. If you want to splurge on yourself, please splurge on yourself. But if you want to, if you know that you're not going anywhere, I don't know why people have to buy extravagantly. Now, another thing I wanted to, I to add to what she has said, because she has given us amazing points. One of the things I want to add is, if you know that you are not trustworthy with yourself, remove your credit card from all the online purchase stores. People
True.
of God, all those auto. Now
Mhm.
I like Just Fab. I order from Just Fab. A lot of my shoes, way before, when I used to order a lot of shoes, then I used to order a lot from Just Fab. So I had an account. I have a point system. But now what Just Fab does is that they remove 39 USD from your account just to give you a point. So
Points.
what I do these days is, I put an alarm and reminder on the first, second, and third. So you have 5 days in the first 5 days of the month to cancel if you don't want to make any purchase, or you want to skip that month. But because I know that I see amazing deals from them, what I do is I set a reminder on the first, second, third, and fourth of the month every day to give me an alarm that cancel Just Fab, cancel Just Fab, cancel. So for that month, I make sure that I skip. So whatever purchase, online purchase you're used to buying, please, we beg you in the name of God, remove your credit card, remove your debit card, or if it's something that's beneficial to you, set a reminder to skip that month or cancel that month. For groceries, she has told you Dollarama has amazing stuff. There is amazing kitchen stuff that I've gotten for Dollarama for $2, for $4, for $6. That the same thing they're gonna sell at Superstore for $39. Just because they
$9. I know I
please.
get most of my kitchenwares, most of my falls. Falls are usually like if you're the kind of person that bakes a lot, you get those falls. You can get spoons for cheaper. I know I get paper towels. Like there are certain things that you can get from Dollarama. Funny enough is that most of the things at what's it called, at Superstore and any of the other stores, you can still get it at Dollarama. The same name brand, the same everything. I know one time I went into Dollarama and I saw my favorite cereal. I like this some almond oatmeal cereal. So I went in there. I was like, what? It was like half the price of what I just got it for, and it was exactly the same thing. So
Mm.
and whatever you can do to save money, there's always plenty of other options.
And for those of us that like African store, I will tell you, to be very sincere, some African stores are more expensive than the other. And pick your options. There are some that I've gone to that God knows that I might not go there in a very, 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 very long future, just because they're quite expensive. And don't be sentimental about it. Look at your pockets and tell yourself, I can't afford this. And this is, if you've not seen my video with Extra Step CEO, she's an amazing person. putting more awareness on small businesses here in Canada. So if you've not, I'm going to link the what do you call it, the video in the description so that you can watch it. She gave us amazing tips on how you can support small businesses, even if you will not purchase. Make sure that you ask your friend, oh, you need this, oh, or even during festive season, you can always buy from this small businesses. So we're not saying don't support small businesses, but ask yourself, can I really afford it? If you cannot afford it, please don't get into debt because you want to look nice before everybody. It doesn't pay anyone. Now, when it comes to you said something about when you just can't get into the country. Can you talk about car options? Like if they want to get good deals, I know that it might not be in your space, but what should people watch out for when they're purchasing like a car? Should they go for brand new one and come and get stuff from the bank, or what would you advise a new immigrant?
That is actually one of the most frequent things I see at the bank. And when you are purchasing a car, if you can afford it, you can go to the dealership and get a brand new car. But as a newcomer, that would not be my recommendation. My recommendation is stay away. Like stay away, stay very far away from dealerships and stay very far away. Like if you really want to buy the brand new car, you have the funds to pay for everything right away. Of course, it's the greatest option because you're not, kind of worried about did this person use it properly, did they maintain it? All the questions that comes with a used vehicle is sort of eliminated. But that's if you can walk into the dealership and they tell you this car is $45,000 and you can pay off right away. The reason why I say that is because I had a family that came into the country and the guy wanted to get a car, and I said, you know what? I think right now, just to start, you guys should get a very good used car, and you can get really nice used cars on either on Kijiji or you can get Facebook Marketplace. They all have like really nice stuff for like $10,000 because they had the funds. So I was like, for like $10,000 or $15,000, you can get a 2015 vehicle. You can get something that's more sturdy or more reliable. I mean, most people prefer the Honda brand or the Toyota brand, something that during winter you can start and it will start, because let's face it, you're in Canada. So when it gets cold, it gets really, really cold. So you need something that's reliable that you can walk into the car and start it and it will start. And for you to be able to do that, you need good amount of funds. That's the only time that I would recommend, hey, get a brand new car. Sorry, sort of digress. But when you go to get a brand new car and you want to finance it, that's a huge no, because they will look for every opportunity to exploit you. The primary purpose for that is because you don't have a credit history and you don't have you don't have an established source of income yet. So one of the reasons, well, two of the bases that you can get credit on, one is your credit history. The second is an established source of income. So you have to have been working for a minimum of at least 3 months or 6 months. You have to be off probation. So when you don't have those two things, your interest rates will be through the roof. And secondly, they tend to pull your credit a lot. Now, you have to bear in mind that every time they pull your credit, that's 10 points off a credit score that you're just starting from scratch to build. So what you're doing is you're already hitting the ground. You're not starting strong. You're already hitting the ground failing, because when they pull your credit, they send your information to several institutions. So like 5, 6, 7 institutions will pull your credit. That's 70 points from... Usually people start at, I think, 600 credit score when they're newcomers. The best is 900. The worst is 300. So you're starting from 600 and you've already gotten 80 points taken off. You've already started telling institutions that, you're going from bank to bank asking for money when that's not the case, or that you're depending on, borrowed money to exist when that's not the case. So try to cut your coat according to the available material. I guess that's how they say it now. If you can afford it, get a brand new car. If you cannot afford it, look for a really nice, a really sturdy vehicle that's used or fairly used. The plenty out there that would be very nice. I know a client came in and I said get a used car, and he said no. He went into the dealership. It turns out they were going to give him a vehicle that cost about 45,000. He called me. He's like, "Well, this car they said it cost 45,000. I'm putting down 15,000. However, my interest rate is 25.99%. By the time I'm done, I would have paid at least $45,000, even with my $15,000 down." So he would have ended up spending twice the amount of money that the car cost to pay the vehicle. But I said, "Uncle, but I told you, get the used car." He said, "No, when I was in Nigeria, I used to drive a very nice car. I used to drive a very nice car. My wife used to drive a 2020 RAV4. I used to drive a Range Rover, even though mine was a little bit older. So I cannot come here and come and start driving." I said, "Okay, whatever suits you. But if you want, you can go with 25.99. It wouldn't be my recommendation. But if you're coming into the country, if you can't afford a car, it's okay. Go and get a rental car. The good thing is, depending on the bank you bank with, some banks offer you some discounts for car rentals. So go talk to your bank, find out if you can get a discount, go to rent a car until you can afford something that, is good for you. If you're in a city that's like Vancouver, that has a very good public transit system, get a bus pass. Nobody is too. I know a lot of people, that can afford a Range Rover that are still taking public transit that live in Vancouver. So it's not a matter of, oh, I don't want to because, I've got money. It's a matter of what is feasible and what is efficient.
I don't know what else to add to that. You've even covered what I wanted to say on the bus pass. And also, I think that we should continue to have a better community, especially as for new immigrants, whether you're from Africa. I know probably you're Asian, you're from India, whatever part of the world you are. Make sure that you look for a community. One of the great things that I appreciate about the church I was coming from and the church I'm now in is that they always help people that just get into the country. So if you are coming to Canada and you're in any area and you're looking for a faith-based church that have a lot of immigrants, make sure that you reach out to people and say, "Oh, I just got into the country." Get information. To be very sincere, we don't do enough by getting information. So many mistakes that our parents made, let's not make them. Let's make sure that we get more than enough information to do what we need to do and to get the best deals ever. And let me tell you the truth. Being someone that has worked with either retail companies and what they call it, wholesale companies, the truth is there's nothing like sale. Don't be deceived. Even when they're having foreclosures, some of them it's a ripoff. I think we can end with that. So there's some deals that when you look at them, by the time you convert, like I've seen some companies where, like, okay, let me give an example of like some baby clothes. Some baby clothes as low as higher in some other places for like, let's say $20, and this is on sale for $5. I would say go for it. Yeah. Sorry, there's a timer on my camera. I would say go for it. Go for that particular deal. If it's something that you need, ask yourself, do we really need it? And that's a question that I keep asking myself. Sometimes I fall short of it, but I come back and I swing back and I tell myself, do we really need it? If it's not a need, please make sure that you run away from it. But it is very, very important. Like she said, seek information, go to the bank. If you can't go to the bank right now, make sure you call and go through your what they call a bank statement. And like she said, don't just run into the plan of, oh, credit card, here I am, is a wolf money. It's not blow money. It's not money that your grandfather's kept for you. It is not your money. It is simply debt. Guys, if you have any questions, please send them right now as a wrap up the show. But I want to say a big thank you to Belema for educating us, and I hope that new immigrants can actually watch this. And if you're planning to come into Canada, you should watch this. I know that Belema is prepping up to start our YouTube channel. So once she starts, I'm gonna put it up in the description. I'm gonna probably come back to edit this and put her YouTube channel in the description, so that when she starts, I believe that she's going to be giving us educative content, and she'll be giving us amazing content that will help us build wealth. For the Proverbs said, a good father leaves wealth for his children. So please, our portion is not to leave debt for our children. Our portion is to leave wealth for our children. So transgenerational wealth is what we are praying to leave for our kids. And if you're going to do that, then we have to start making right money decisions. Read books that help you. Watch Dave Ramsey a lot. I watch him a lot, and some things he says just hits me like whoosh. So please make sure you do that. And another couple that I had last month, Fix It Finance, they're doing amazing work educating people on how to make better decisions when it comes to their finances. So follow at Fix It Finance, and also follow at, I'm going to have another guest towards the end of the month. Her name is Reni. So follow at XORENI. She also gives amazing content on educating people when it comes to financial literacy. So you see that I'm surrounded with financial gurus, so I should be making more money, right? So please, next week we're going to be having someone talking about money and the intimacy of money when it comes to money and intimacy. And to be very sincere, money can ruin a lot of issues in family lives. So whether you're in a relationship or you're married, this is something that you have to watch out for. So I'm going to be having a guest that's going to talk about that. I'm super excited. But before you go, Belema, you have to give us parting words. What would you tell anyone that is either coming to the country, already in the country, and they need some money advice? What would be your final thoughts, your final words to them?
Well, book an appointment and go talk to a financial advisor. Because, I mean, money advice, it's easy to just sit down and say, you know what, I'm going to try and learn it myself. Even though you have, you've read a lot of books on it, it's always good to have the perspective of someone that most likely has gotten several certificates or several degrees in that particular field, or for the experience reason, have probably heard someone in your situation and have helped the person in that situation. So you never know the advisor you could be talking to. They probably have dealt with something similar before. So just book an appointment and talk to an expert in that particular field. You will find you most likely will find the advice very helpful.
Guys, book an appointment, and please, if you want to talk to, is there a way? I think you can send her a DM. I'll put her Instagram and also in the description, so you can send her a DM if you need help, you want to talk to her about some financial stuff. Please reach out to her, send out a DM so that she can answer, or she could just give you an appointment with the bank she uses. But please make sure that you get knowledge, get understanding in all things, and make sure that you don't shoot yourself in the leg, whatever you do. So for me, myself, and I, thank you very much for being on the show. Thank you very much, Belema, for coming on the show. Thank you for giving us insightful thoughts on the basic things that immigrants need to do so that they don't make these money mistakes. And like she said, guys, things are cheap in other stores, so make sure that you explore those stores this weekend before you go into even for Valentine. Make sure that you have a budget for that Valentine, and make sure that you can always get all these things. Look for deals on what they call that Groupon. There's so many coupons. There's I think there's oni.com where you can look for coupons. So make sure that you explore all these things. So till we see you next week, thank you very much. God bless you. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you'll be able to get amazing content. Till you see you next time, have a blessed weekend and happy Valentine to those that are already starting their Valentine. Bye, guys.